In this video, I explain why organizational resilience will only grow in importance as a strategic priority for senior decision makers and employees of all firms in the emerging geopolitical age, which for the first time will be featured by the role of digital technologies in interstate relations. The alignment of political attention and business interests are diverging as the contemporary geopolitical age takes shape. To be sure, this has happened before, but especially in Europe, it has been some time since the last occasion such a shift took place. Critically, this shift is more likely to be structural than cyclical. In 1988, political scientist Robert Putnam made the observation that there was an alignment of domestic interests and international policy making in a two-level game played by governments. Governments operate at two tables simultaneously. At level one, they engage with other countries on trade, technology, security, or climate policymaking. They negotiate at home with voters, political parties, regulators, and interest groups at the domestic level. Till recently, in a highly institutionalized global system, leaders tended to commit to international agreements they could defend domestically, while domestic political coalitions defined what was possible internationally for policymakers. Today, instead of this type of alignment, we are observing a growing divergence between the two levels. Government no longer optimizes primarily for business interests or domestic interests. They are increasingly optimizing for geopolitical leverage as their focus moves to interstate relations. As a result, firms are increasingly facing export controls, investment screening, and abrupt disruptions or regulatory shifts, even when these measures undermine economic interests or global cooperation and integration agendas. This divergence is creating a structurally more challenging external environment for business and their employees, with firms and their employees no longer able to assume a stable, rules-based international trade and investment regime, while domestic governments can be expected to prioritize security and national interest over the needs and interests of industries and business that are not essential to realizing the policy focus of government. Therefore, firms must take responsibility for managing political uncertainty themselves. The resulting uncertainty and volatility, both domestically and internationally, in the external environments of firms calls for a greater managerial focus on building organizational resilience. Resilient firms diversify supply chains rather than relying on a single country optimization. Spread revenue exposure across multiple markets, build financial buffers, develop rapid decision-making capabilities, and monitor global risk as closely as market risk. Organizational resilience is no longer defensive crisis management. It is a core strategic capability for operating in a geopolitically contested world. Organizational resilience is the capability to anticipate, withstand, adapt to, and recover from disruption while continuing to deliver on strategic objectives. It is not only crisis response, it is a strategic capability embedded in governance, operations, culture, and leadership. Even as firms are faced with the pressure to transform in response to the digital age and sustainability pressures, those that are not able to build the necessary internal processes to raise their resilience will face significantly more challenging times than their competitors that are able to do so.